in my information review on Reverend Dr. David Irvine. He's a clinical and biblical counselor, a current professor, and a reverend. He has earned up to his doctorate degree and is currently working at St. Francis as a German professor and a biblical speaker. He regularly speaks at Crew and just one-on-one with students to encourage them to follow the Bible. And his full-time job is at Pyramid Healthcare, which is located in Altoona. It's a detox and rehabilitation center. It's an inpatient unit where the counselors actually work there with the people that are living there. Provides the health and mental care to substance abuse patients, just to help them get off of the drugs or alcohol they're addicted to. A little bit of background information on Dr. Irvine is that he began his career as a high school teacher and then became a pastor. Um, he started the counseling while he was working in high school because he met a lot of kids that were addicted to drugs, and it was the kids he would have never expected to be addicted. They had high GPAs, they were going to college, and it was just something they used on their free time, and he wanted to make sure he was able to make a difference and teach them that that's not what they should be doing with their lives. Later, he moved to Germany to continue working in education and became a pastor there again. He actually created his own interdenominational church and was the pastor there for many years while he worked there in education. Um, while he was there, he was trained by the military, specifically the U.S. Army, for intervention, and this was a lot of the chemical biological warfare. This was all during Desert Storm, so he counseled a lot of soldiers and their family members on PTSD. People in Germany that were Americans were struggling, and he was there for them as their counselor, just to help them get over what they saw. Um, Currently a co-pastor in Altoona, he does not own or run a church, but the one that he is a member at, he speaks at and is able to share his biblical knowledge there. And he is a clinical and biblical counselor in Altoona, and he's been a counselor for 35 years doing it. And then his job at St. Francis is to be a German professor. A typical workday for him is full-time as a therapeutic counselor at Pyramid Healthcare, and this is just the drug and alcohol abuse counselor, where he teaches them how to become steady without using these substances and just teaches them the importance of life and that they can't be wasted by using these types of drugs. Then he works as a biblical counselor, which is a one-on-one job he has, where it's actually volunteer, but it still has to do with substance abuse. He's given probation and parole assignments from people in Altoona, and he just teaches them the importance of the Bible through their lives and how Jesus would view their decisions and just how they can get back on track and be forgiven and learn how to live their lives through the Bible. Then he's the volunteer pastor at different churches in Altoona and St. Francis and just does different preaching and encouraging speaks to members. And then he's the German professor at St. Francis and he teaches night classes here. A lot of patients within the substance abuse counseling are very similar. 80% of those in this type of counseling are ex-convicts or currently back in jail because the counseling wasn't effective for them. And 50% that start the counseling don't even consider themselves addicted to the substance. They think that they're just using it as a hobby and that they don't actually rely on it. And the saddest statistic is that 10% are willing to change. That means 90% go through this counseling just going through the motions because they're forced through and they don't actually have any intentions to change their lifestyle. And a lot of these patients are still addicted to the drug and mentally unstable because they rely on a substance to get through the day and to do their daily tasks. Um, we spoke on some of the most effective counseling strategies, and the one he recommends most is assisted living. And this is just an environment where the people are inpatients and they live in a building with counselors, just so they have somebody there constantly that are able to check up on them, speak to them, and encourage them to not use substances. And this just helps them because there's an extra set of eyes and they can't just go in their closet and get drugs. Um, Another way that he reaches patients is just by asking them to examine what they actually have in their life, asking them about their relationships, what careers they may have, if they have a house, if they have any cars, or if they have any money. And this really makes people realize that they have not acquired much in their lives because they don't have any of these five things. And it's because everything they've had has gone to the drugs or alcohol they've been addicted to. Another way he makes them realize that they have a problem is by examining their physical problems, whether it be they got in a car accident when they were drunk and they are paralyzed or can't walk, or whether they have mental issues because the substance actually was able to ruin part of their brain. Different health problems come from smoking, whether it be their lungs or teeth or cancer, and a lot of broken relationships. A lot of these addicts no longer speak to their families, their spouses, their kids. It's just left a lot of scars on their lives. And when they actually think about this, they usually realize it's because they're addicted to a substance. And then the counseling strategy that Dr. Irvine uses that most people do not is he uses the Bible as his resource. He doesn't say that it's based off religion or that he's getting these quotes from the Bible. He says that a philosopher once said, or a teacher once said, or just an ancient book once mentioned. And he does this because he uses the encouraging parables or the good quotes that come from the Bible, but without telling people they're from the actual Bible. And a lot of this is done by saying, oh, Mark Twain once quoted, because everybody knows Mark Twain, but they don't realize he usually quotes the Bible. Some of the sacrifices people have to make for their career um, tend to be financial, and this is because some of the jobs are volunteer. He works a lot of volunteer hours to counsel people that can't afford his counseling or stuff, but he realizes that it's his responsibility to serve God because that's how he feels called, and then it's not about making a paycheck because being able to change one person's life is way more rewarding to him than getting paid on Friday. Um, some sacrifices are to better your career and just opportunities that may be presented, whether it be promotions, a higher salary, or just getting promoted to a more prestigious job. And sometimes you have to turn those down because you actually enjoy what you're doing and you feel more useful there. Something else that you have to sacrifice is time. Um, he noticed that his family has suffered due to his work hours because he works full time and volunteers and has a part time job. And he's just pouring a lot of effort into other people's that even when he is home, he's tired and he can tell that the time being spent other places is taking it away from his family. Couple key traits to being successful in the counseling field is your personality. You definitely need to be compassionate and patient because you're really just showing love to people and just teaching them about how to be successful and how to get their life back on track. But you need to understand where they come from. And that's from getting to know them on a personal level and just taking interest in their life, showing them that they truly matter to this world. And you have to be doing it for the right reason. You can't just do it for a paycheck because in this field, you're not going to get a big paycheck. So you really need to find your work rewarding. And then you need to take the training seriously, taking school seriously and learning about all the different theories and just different ways to impact people's lives and being able to adapt to different ways people need you to be there for them. And treating every patient as a son or daughter is something Dr. Irvine said because you need to know that they may not have a parent out there that cares about them, and you need to show them that type of love. And just take every new time to learn how to grow with patients and learn. There's going to be opportunities through conferences and stuff just to keep advancing your field. Organizational fit is something that Pyramid Healthcare really focuses on and stresses the importance on. The client relationship with the counselors is something that they really make sure can be turned into a personal relationship. They really make sure that the employees there are actually compassionate and caring and able to form these relationships. Because if they cannot connect and relate with the clients, they don't really want those people to work there. So they give them a time and a period where they're able to show and prove that they're worthy of this position because they're actually able to touch and make a difference in the clients' lives with this relationship they make with them. And then the company's future. Uh, Dr. Irvine really spoke on the fact that a lot of the employees there will always work there because they're doing their work for God and they just think that it's worth it no matter what. And the company successfully heals patients. Some of the inpatients are graduated and out there living their life perfectly happy, not addicted to any substance again. So the company definitely has a future in the fact that they've been successful. Um, but not all employees there are happy because they start at $12 an hour even though they have a college degree. Motivation is covered within the work environment and how supervisors and clients are able to encourage each other to get their lives back on track. And it's really motivating to see people turn their lives around. The methods between the supervision just shows that other people care about you and everybody's working towards one common goal. Just the rewarding part of a career is being successful and seeing somebody get off of the substance they're addicted to. And the organizational fit of client and the patient relationship it just shows that they actually are able to work together and make a difference. And the client's able to learn from the patient just as much as the patient learns from the client. The supervisor and employee relationship's important, and it just shows that they're a good fit for the company because they're able to work together and supervise the employee without butting heads because they know what's best and what's important. And just the company vision and future matching with how the employee views their future in the company is important because everybody within one company needs to be working towards a common goal, which Pyramid Healthcare really shows that they're all focused on the patients and that's all they're there for. I've learned a lot about being a substance abuse counselor through this process. I was given a lot of insights of what types of methods to use that are successful on patients and just shown a lot of different paths to reach people. I'm actually attending a conference with Dr. Irvine in a week for substance counselors that he invited me to, which I'll learn about even more procedures to use. And I was given a lot of advice, and it confirmed a lot of things that I expected could affect you or were successful within this field.